These days, we're all subjected to a barrage of marketing messages, but not everyone is equally susceptible to them. Hilke Plassmann, assistant professor of marketing at INSEAD, has used brain imaging to show that our gray matter may be what determines how receptive we are to marketing cues. To explain her findings, she joins us now on INSEAD Knowledge. Hilke, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm very honored to be here.
Your research deals quite extensively with marketing expectancies. Can you give me an example of what that means?
The idea is a bit that marketers, they do specific activities such as branding, such as pricing, or labeling on the product packaging and so forth. And now the interesting question is, how does it actually affect our consumption experience and also how we make decisions? And what initial studies have shown is that, telling you this is your favorite brand will actually affect how much you think you like it, right? So how much you report to like it. And more interestingly now, what it shows is also it's going beyond how it affects your consumption experience. It's also affecting subsequent behavior.
So can you explore the connection between brain structure and susceptibility to these marketing expectancies?
Yeah, so what we did in the study is we started with the brain imaging data, and we looked at, is there any structure in the brain where the gray matter actually would predict how responsive people are to these, we like to call them marketing placebo effects, right? Because they're a bit like a placebo pill. And indeed, we found 3 brain regions. The striatum, we know that this is involved in reward processing behavior, specifically in how much you predict something will be rewarding. This makes a lot of sense now when you think about what we're looking at, because this means they see, for example, the price tag or the brand, and then they have to anticipate how much they're going to enjoy it. Now let's look at the second region that had a positive relationship, which was a dorsal medial prefrontal cortex. This area is it's a bigger area involved in working memory, but specifically actually, and this is now a bit counterintuitive to a lot of people that I've talked to, in thinking. Some people, they rely just more on these cues in the environment that are cognitive, such as a price, such as a brand name, and so forth. So, and people who have more of this need for these cognitive structures to kind of make sense of, or to create this expectancy on how good the experience should be, they are more responsive to marketing placebo effects. Now, what is interesting is what actually shows the opposite pattern. And there we found the posterior insula. Posterior insula is a part of our generally just sensory processing system in the brain that tells us a bit about how much are we actually able to monitor our own sensations. And people who were better able to use their gut and focus on what's actually happening, so focus on the taste itself rather than be biased by the marketing cue, they showed less responsiveness to marketing placebo effects.
Does this mean that one's receptivity to marketing is genetically hardwired?
That's a very good question, right? So, but the question is now, why is there variation in these gray matter volumes in these areas? And it's really important to understand that this is not something we're born with, right? So we have what we call plasticity in the brain. So for example, I can train myself to use these brain areas.
What are some possible implications of this study for marketers?
So from a marketing perspective, we're really interested in understanding differences between our customers, because what we know is that it makes a lot of sense to put them into little groups, so meaning that we segment the market according to specific criteria, right? Because it means, so they might then respond in a similar way to my marketing activities, so I will be more efficient with my marketing dollars. Now, historically, we started thinking about, okay, I'm going to target a specific age group, maybe a specific gender. Now, these days, we know that specifically also with changes in consumer trends, consumers being more powerful through digital media and so forth, that in a lot of times this idea of using demographics might not be such a good idea. So you have to go beyond this. You have to think about what are customers' attitudes, what are customers' needs. And this is where my results directly feed in. So now I know as a marketer that I should really look at these processes of how sensitive are consumers for rewards, what is their need for cognition, how much can they use actually their gut, and integrate this in the segmentation.
Any implications for public policy?
Yeah, so for public policy now, you can obviously then see it from a different perspective. That this tells you now If you, for example, look at groups that are either vulnerable, such as kids, or people that have clear indicators that they have disadvantageous behavior, so people that are overspending or undersaving. This means now that you can think about specific public policy interventions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.